Beautiful friend, let's talk about Mercury retrograde for the holidays. Would you ever consciously invite Mercury retrograde to your holiday table? Now, I know that's a silly question. Of course we wouldn't, but I want to let you know that this Mercury retrograde has the power to bring us a realization, an epiphany, a divine download, a gift that is going to take us into a more positive and powerful new vision for 2024. This Mercury retrograde is happening in the context of a brand new era, the end of a soul cycle, us moving into Pluto in Aquarius, January 21st. So this could actually be quite a profound Mercury retrograde that has us soaring into 2024. And this is what I'm going to share with you in this video. This Mercury retrograde is happening in 2 signs. It begins in practical planning, the CEO of your life, Capricorn energy. This is where we are most responsible and committed. And then it moves into Sagittarius, which is about a brand new, fiery, inspiring new vision, playing, celebrating, relaxing. These are very different energies. Now the dates. Mercury will station retrograde in Capricorn on December 12th. It will move into Sagittarius December 23rd. And on January 1st, New Year's Day, Mercury will station direct. If we add in the pre-shadow and post-shadow retrograde periods, the dates are November 25th through January 20th. So on January 21st, not only do we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, jump-starting our brand new era, but we also have, so auspiciously and synchronistically, you can't make this stuff up, at the same time we also have Mercury going into brand new territory the same exact day. So if there was a Mercury retrograde in which knowing the key dates, the themes, the aspects to prepare ourselves practically, mentally, even emotionally, because we're talking about the holidays here, this is it. William Shakespeare said, "All things are ready if our minds be so." So it's my intention in this video to help you prepare your mind for this Mercury retrograde so that you can make the most of it. You can reap the rewards, because all Mercury retrogrades bring us a gift of realization. So in this video, I'm going to share with you who will most feel this particular Mercury retrograde, depending on your natal planets and points. What are the themes, and how can you best work with the energies with the most ease and grace? I'm going to share with you the aspects and the key dates. So you don't want to miss the introduction, because all of this information is going to be in part 1 of the video before I do the 12 sign readings. And when I do your 12 sign readings, listen to your rising sign. This is the area of life, actually 2 areas of life, because Mercury is going retrograde in both Capricorn and Sagittarius. And you can listen to your sun and moon signs for more intuitive messages. And as always, I'll be pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. Plus, I have tips for you at the end of the introduction, part 1 of this video. Tips for how you can best work with this Mercury retrograde energy. So be sure and stay tuned for that. So before I go further into this very juicy Mercury retrograde, and yes, a Mercury retrograde can be juicy. This one's going to be deep and juicy. Did I say juicy enough times? Before I go further, I want to say hello and welcome if you're new to me. If you're just finding my channel, you've found a like-minded community. If you are someone who wants to receive empowerment through astrology, you're in the right place. Be sure and subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Welcome back to all of my friends who've been watching my videos for some time. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your support of my channel. And welcome to my Sunday chat friends. Everyone's invited, 9 a.m. Pacific time in our chat when my videos premiere. So please join us. I'm Betsy Gutting. I am a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach and the author of The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. In my videos, as well as my professional astrology consultations, I weave together divine downloads, spiritual insights, and Western tropical astrology. So when we get to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you more about my astrology consultations so you can get a sense of whether you feel called to work with me. And I also have a free gift for you, so be sure and stay tuned for that. Quick announcement for those of you who have asked, I now have gift cards available on my website, as well as 2020 2024 year ahead astrology consultations. And I've also just added, because some of you have asked for this, relationship synastry consultations, relationship compatibility readings. And by the way, if you'd like to get my free inspirational astrology updates, it's the astrology between videos. If you'd like to get those direct to your inbox, you can go to my website, sign up for free, and you'll get that free instant download, that free gift immediately. Big picture, all Mercury retrogrades take our focus inward. Generally speaking, most of us are more intuitive. The veil feels thinner during a Mercury retrograde, which really helps us when we're having some sort of glitch happen. We can turn inward for answers. We can call in spirit. We can call in the divine to help us move through any frustration, because we are more in tune psychically during a Mercury retrograde, most of us. Mercury retrograde also increases our awareness of our inner dialogue. Mercury is the divine messenger. It rules communications. It rules our thinking. It rules our thought processes. We tend to become much more aware of our inner narrative, the way, our minds are always going, right? The monkey mind, as we talk about, it's always going. And so during a Mercury retrograde, we are really asked, supported, strengthened to be aware of how are we talking to ourselves? How are we talking to other people? Usually other people will let us know if we're not being extra gentle and kind, right? But also, how are we taking care of ourselves on an inner level? Mercury retrograde reveals this to us. On a practical level, Mercury rules our problem-solving ability, our attention to details. Details can sort of fall by the wayside. Most of us make more typos during a Mercury retrograde. And in context of the holiday time, Mercury rules retail transactions. It rules our online buying and sending of packages, as well as our devices and transportation. So that affects our short trips and our long distance trips and our travel plans and our flights. As most of you know by now, Mercury retrograde tends to be associated with miscommunication, with flights changing, with delays and slowdowns, more traffic jams. How many times have you been in a traffic jam and you're like, oh my God, I forgot Mercury's retrograde. Why didn't I allow myself more time? And this is because on a collective level, and for most of us personally, our minds are not working quite the same as they do when Mercury is direct. Back up your devices, read the fine print on your warranties. I always have people ask me in the comments to Mercury retrograde videos, is this a bad time to buy a computer or a car or something like this? And generally speaking, any big ticket items are best saved, those purchases are best saved for after Mercury retrograde. This is my experience, but it is the holiday time. It is a time that we are buying gifts for people. And so what I would say is, if you really want to buy something during this time, it doesn't mean that it's going to be flawed in some way. That would depend on how Mercury retrograde is interacting with your natal planets and points, or the gift recipient's natal planets and points, which I can go over with you in a personal astrology consultation. But if you make sure that the item is returnable and you're really cognizant of the warranty, then you're covered. You might also want to order and send your packages a little bit earlier this year than you normally do. Now, what are the positives of Mercury retrograde? The positives are, it's a time to relax. It's a time to rejuvenate. It is a time to rethink and reassess, to go over things. And especially in the context, once again, the context, we have to keep this in mind. All of the transits that are going on, they all happen, they're all part of the same soup. In the context of us not only about to enter a brand new year where we are formulating a new vision for 2024 and letting go of 2023, releasing the year in the context of this. And not only that, but going into a brand new soul cycle, a brand new era with Pluto and Aquarius. In the context of this is actually a beautiful time to do that reflection. So I think many of us are going to be having past memories coming up during this time. You could even have past people come into your life for closure. You could have past life people enter your life during this time. This is a time for us to really look back on 2023 and celebrate our wins and successes, how far we've come. And not only that, I would say this is a time you might want to look back on the whole era of Pluto and Capricorn. And those of you who know, I have several videos on Pluto and Capricorn, as well as a new video on Pluto and Aquarius that I encourage you to watch, especially if you have planets or points in the cardinal signs or the fixed signs. We're not only reviewing 2023, we're reviewing the whole era of Pluto and Capricorn, which began in 2008. That was a 15-year span of time. And the new information that comes in during this Mercury retrograde could very well inform your vision for 2024. This is also a beautiful time to go on vacation. It's a beautiful time to just be with family and friends, your chosen family, and to be in the flow, to be present, to ride with the tide, and to open up. You know, when we're in the present moment, we're open to the magical synchronicities of life. We're open to new possibilities. We're open to let in those divine downloads that we often can be closed off to when we're not fully present. So who will most feel this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn and Sagittarius? Those of you who have planets or points in Sagittarius or the other mutable signs of Gemini, Virgo, or Pisces between 22 and 29 degrees, you will feel this Mercury retrograde more personally, more intensely. And those of you who have planets or points in the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, and Libra between 0 and 8 degrees, you will also feel this Mercury retrograde more personally, more intensely. Now, this Mercury retrograde beginning on 12/12, this is a portal energy. Not only is 12/12 its own portal, it is also the Sagittarius new moon, which is all about a fiery, inspired, brand new vision for 2024. So how is that for a kickoff of Mercury retrograde? And I have a separate video for you on the new moon in Sagittarius with readings for all 12 signs. I will link to that in the description box below, as well as the cards at the end of the video. On this day, December 12th, when we have this new moon in fiery, expansive, Jupiter-ruled Sagittarius, this is the day that Mercury will station retrograde at 8 degrees of Capricorn. 8 is a power number, especially in Capricorn, which rules power. It rules leadership and being the CEOs of our lives. It's all about our careers. It's about our responsibilities, our commitments, our agreements. It tends to be a more serious, sober energy because in Capricorn is where we want to build a solid, sustainable, long-lasting foundation, legacy even. Now, interestingly, 8 degrees of Capricorn is the same degree at which Mercury stationed direct back in January of this year, January of 2023. The very last degree of Mercury in Capricorn stationing direct was 8 degrees. So we are picking up where we left off, where we seeded new intentions back in January of 23. Another reason to look back on this year and see, what did I accomplish? What were the goals I set? What worked for me? What didn't? This is Capricorn energy, very goal oriented. And why is this important? Because the universe, my friend, wants you to refine during Mercury retrograde, refine what is not working for you, to take into 2024 a brand new vision that is more conducive to your well-being and your fulfillment. For most of us, 2023 has been a year of rapid growth, evolutionary soul growth. We're finishing out Pluto and Capricorn. That has been difficult for many, many of you, especially those of you who have anything prominent in the cardinal signs. So you may be asking during this Mercury retrograde, really assessing, where am I now in my life? Or in these particular areas of your lives that I'm going to talk about during the 12 sign readings, you may be really looking at, what do I need to change? What do I want to retweak? What do I want to refine so that my life can be easier and better? Now, because Capricorn energy is connected to karma, completing soul contracts, this may come up for you as well. Also, you could be very aware of your commitments, your agreements, your responsibilities, and where those have completed for you, where you don't want to do the same role that you did before, where you feel like it's time for me to let that go. It's something that maybe has been very important to you that you felt super committed to, but could have come from a sense of conditioning, from a sense of I'm duty bound to this, I have to do this. And now you're saying you're rethinking that, some of you. Also, respect, self-respect, honoring. Do you feel honored? Do you feel like those people that you're really giving your time and energy to are giving back to you what you're giving to them, or what you're giving to a job? It's not just relationships. It could be a job. It could be a business. It could be anything that you have a commitment to. You could really be looking at that. Now, incidentally, when we had Mercury retrograde in Capricorn at the end of December of 2022, the beginning of January 2023, it happened last New Year's Eve. It was in Capricorn, and I was laughing to myself because Capricorn is such a sobering energy, and I think it was the very first New Year's Eve where I didn't have one drop of champagne. I was hanging out with a friend in Puerto Vallarta. I had just moved here. It was so festive. New Year's Eve in Puerto Vallarta is like amazing, amazing, off the charts. They have huge video screens in the streets. Everyone's dancing in the streets. Literally the whole Zona Romantic, the old part of town, just fills up with people. It's just one big party town. And we were out there, we were dancing, we were walking on the Malecon. It was super fun. There were so many people. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people out. But because I was with someone who doesn't drink, I also didn't even have a sip. I'm not much of a drinker. I'm actually quite a lightweight, but I do enjoy a little bit of festive, something to toast with. And that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn was my sober New Year's Eve. Now, besides that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, the last time that we had Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and you might want to look back to this time and see what the themes were for you. If you can remember, I know it's not easy to go back this far, but the last time we had Mercury retrograde in Capricorn was December 19th of 2016 to January 8th of 2017. So the holiday time of 2016. And that also made me laugh because I was quite sick during that holiday time, and I have Capricorn in my 7th house of relationships, and I had an amazing friend who is a Capricorn, an amazing friend who came to my house and wrapped all of my gifts to send off to my kids. Like, over the top, amazing thing that he did for me. And this is Capricorn energy. It is reliable. I will be there for you. I will be your rock. I will come through for you. You can count on me. That's the highest octave of Capricorn energy. The lower octave of Capricorn energy, which could come up for you during this Mercury retrograde, is blaming others or feeling that others are blaming you, holding on to guilt, and guilt is never helpful for any of us, or regret. So this is the time for forgiveness. This is the time to forgive others, to forgive yourself, clear the slate, and correct any imbalances in relationships with people to whom you are committed. And when Mercury is in Capricorn, we want to be mindful of not overextending ourselves, not over-promising. It's a quite ambitious energy. We often think we can do more than we can actually do. And this is that time, December 12th to the 23rd, this is that time that most of us are doing a lot of preparations for the holiday time. So if there's something that you can leave off of your list, do it, my friend. Now on December 23rd, Mercury moves into Sagittarius and the energy shifts. We will feel this. It's very different themes. Sagittarius energy is fiery, it's bold, it's playful, it's adventurous. This is when we're like, let's get this party started. Like, seriously, I think we're really gonna want to let loose a little bit. This is optimistic, hopeful. We want to feel expanded. We're looking on the bright side of life. We're focused on our vision. This is definitely new vision kind of energy. We're focused on that thing that is inspiring us, or maybe we're just feeling inspired and happy and fulfilled to be with people that we love, to be celebrating with people we love. Also, though, our thinking shifts to what is my truth? What is the truth for me? What is my purpose going forward? And how can I align my life in 2024 with this new truth? My mom, who was a Sag moon, had a healthy detachment when it came to the chaos that can be going on in life around her. Watching her in action, I could see there's nothing you can't cure with a little Barbra Streisand, brie, and champagne. Now, I want to get more specific with you about the aspects and the key dates. So some of you might want to write down these key dates. If you don't want to fill your head with a bunch of dates, that's okay. This is a very active Mercury. There are a lot of aspects going on, but I'm going to focus on 3 main aspects. And I want to tell you, good news, there are more positive aspects with this Mercury retrograde than challenging. But I also need to say that this is a general reading. This is a collective reading of the energies. How you experience this Mercury retrograde will depend on how Mercury is interacting with your personal planets and points in your natal astrology chart. The first part of Mercury retrograde, when Mercury is in Capricorn, we are getting some beautiful, positive, flowing energies. Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is going to make a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. This is stabilizing energy. This is helping us to build a solid, long-lasting foundation underneath us, underneath your goals, underneath your dreams, underneath wherever Capricorn is in your chart. This is where you are strengthening your foundation. This feels reliable. It feels like something that we can count on. It feels very solid. Now, the key dates for this, and these dates encompass the pre-shadow, the actual Mercury retrograde period, and the post-shadow period. So the dates for this sextile with Saturn are December 2nd, December 21st, and January 15th. We also have a positive supportive aspect with Mercury retrograde and Capricorn making a trine, positive energy flow, wind at your back, ease, grace, and flow, a trine with Jupiter, expansive Jupiter in Taurus. So this is where I think we're going to receive the insights, the expansive ideas. We may feel inspired. I feel it when I tune into this energy, I feel a sense of working with other people, the brainstorming, the heart storming, the hanging out with people or at least one other person and discussing what you want your 2024 to look like and feeling supported. It feels very supportive. What I love most about this aspect between Mercury and Jupiter and Taurus is that we are up-leveling our sense of deserving. We are claiming what we're worthy of. This is what the directive is of this aspect. Claim what you know you deserve. Where you feel disgruntled, where you feel like things haven't happened the way you want them to happen, my friend, this is where it's time to realize I am worth more, I deserve more, and I'm claiming it now. And whatever comes in for you, my friend, during the key dates, which I'm about to tell you, whatever you receive in terms of energetic support from Mercury will likely turn into a tangible manifestation in 2024. So the key dates for this are December 7th, December 15th, and January 19th. Now, when Mercury's in Sagittarius, this is part 2 of the retrograde. When Mercury's in Sagittarius, it's going to make a square aspect, which can feel like tension or pressure or motivation to take action. Squares get us going. Squares make us feel like we've got to do something about what's going on inside of us. Mercury in Sag will make a square to Neptune in Pisces. The key dates for this are November 26th, December 27th, and January 8th. Neptune in Pisces is our vision. It is our divine connection. It's unconditional love at its highest octave. It is where we can go to the divine and ask for assistance, ask for a vision, ask for clarity. This could be an inner conflict for you. This could be where you're not sure what to do, where you feel indecisive. It could also be where you have a disappointment, where you feel like something hasn't played out for you in 2023 like you expected. Something isn't measuring up to your ideal vision. But I have to say the lower octave of this energy is where we've expected another person or a situation to save us. And I know, my friend, I have so much compassion for this. I know that we don't do this consciously. You may not even be aware of this if it pertains to you. But where you feel like someone pulled the rug out from underneath you, somebody didn't show up in the way that you expected them to, it's possible that on a certain level, you were expecting too much of that person, that job, or that situation. You were not taking full responsibility for your own empowerment. And that could be connected to setting boundaries. But because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and Pisces is co-ruled by Jupiter, that's going to soften the square energy. Mercury and Sag actually has in common with Neptune and Pisces this Jupiterian energy. And that can help us to receive the downloads from the divine, from our Jupiterian spirit guides and angels. It can help us to receive the inspiration that we need to refine, retweak, reclarify how we can best get our needs met in this area of our life. Okay, so a couple more dates for you, and then I'm going to give you some tips, and then we'll get to the 12 sign readings. December 26th, we have a beautiful Cancer full moon. And of course, Cancer rules home, family, loved ones, emotional security. Now, of course, I'm going to do a separate reading for you on the Cancer full moon, but I want to say right now that it's making beautiful trines to Jupiter and Taurus, a sextile to Saturn and Pisces. So this is a very supportive full moon that I think could be quite uplifting, if not simply cozy and heartwarming. Between December 29th and January 5th, Mercury is going to be at the same degree, 22 degrees of Sagittarius for 7 full days. And this is the last degree before Mercury goes direct. It's going to be at 22 degrees. So we are going to gain some self-mastery. This is foundational. This is business planning. This is visioning energy. This could be quite transformational for you in powerful, positive ways. And finally, on January 14th, when Mercury re-enters Capricorn, you may receive some new clarity. The lights may come on. You may get that epiphany or aha moment. This could be a time that you finally feel like, I know what I'm doing now. I know the steps I need to take. Okay, so some quick tips for you, and then we're going to do the 12 sign readings. Stay open to the magic of the universe. This is, after all, the season of light. Ride with the tide, go with the flow, stay in the moment. Try to release expectations. I know this is difficult, especially when you are hanging out with family. And for those of you who are single and might be having a solo holiday time, first of all, I want you to know I've had many of those myself. And for my Cancer moon, that has not been easy. But this is the time to really take care of that inner child, to really hold yourself with love and care and treat yourself like the precious being that you are. And I know some of you are going to say in the comments, I love spending the holidays alone, and good for you. I'm so glad you do. But for all of us, whether we are solo during this time, or we are with family, or we are with one significant other, releasing expectations will really make this a more easeful time. Have a clear intention. First and foremost, have a clear intention. How do you want to experience this period of time? Notice when that feeling is happening for you and celebrate the smallest moments of joy, of ease, of grace. Okay, my friends, so let's do the 12 sign readings now. Listen for your rising sign. I'm going to share with you, based on your rising sign, where you have both Capricorn and Sagittarius in your chart, two different areas of your life where we're having this Mercury retrograde. Also listen for your sun and your moon sign for further intuitive messages. And we're going to start with Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde is beginning in your sign. So you are having the beginning of Mercury retrograde, and I have all the dates and the key dates and much more for you in the introduction to this video. So I highly encourage you to go back and watch that introduction if you haven't watched it yet. But you're having the first part of this Mercury retrograde in your first house of identity, of roles, of personal and professional, who you are at work, who you are in your family, who are you committed to, where do you put most of your energy, whose backs do you have, who has your back. This is really, really important, Capricorn, because this could affect your work life specifically, but also your commitments and your agreements. And this is what you may be rethinking, reassessing during this time. You could really be saying, I need to work differently. I need to put more, this could be about work-life balance for you. You could be saying, I need to put more work into my relationships, or less work into a certain relationship where I'm not receiving back what I'm giving, and more into those people who really nourish me, where there's co-nourishing going on. This could also be your relationships with your co-workers. In your first house, Capricorn, is where you're going to be up-leveling your sense of deserving, and also where you're going to be building a more solid, stable foundation. So this is where you're receiving this positive energy from Saturn and Pisces and from Jupiter and Taurus to strengthen yourself during this Mercury retrograde. Now, when Mercury goes into Sagittarius on December 23rd, it's going to go into your 12th house of rest, retreat, the house of the mystic, the house of rewiring our subconscious mind. So some of you are going to be doing some rewiring of your inner narrative, the story you tell about yourself, the story you tell about your life. It's time to up level that. It's time for you to see yourself with true eyes, with, I love the phrase realize, real eyes, see with real eyes. You may have a realization because the 12th house, we can have deep, deep transformational revelations. You may have one of those during this 12th house transit where you really see the truth. Someone may come off a pedestal for you, or you may come off a pedestal for someone else. Someone could have been projecting things about you onto you that aren't true, or expecting you to save them in some way, Capricorn. And they feel defeated or disappointed because you couldn't save them. That is also possible. But during this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius period, this is when you will be envisioning a brand new vision for 2024. This is where you are re-envisioning in your 12th house area. So to me, what that means is you are re-envisioning the way you see yourself, the way you see your life. This is deep, deep energy, and I encourage you to do some guided meditations or some meditation or whatever takes you to that deeper place. This is reimagining in a big way because 12th house energy is our imagination. So you really are, if you make the most of this time, I would say go deep if you're willing to and able to. And you may be very busy during this time, I get it, but this is a time you could have some, like I said, a really beautiful vision could come to you, or you could have a realization that makes you start on a whole new trajectory with a whole new idea or plan about what you want for your life, Capricorn, a brand new goal. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, Capricorns. For this epic Mercury retrograde, okay, Capricorn. And your card is blessings, blessings. It says, count your blessings. A grateful heart attracts more joy, love, and prosperity. So whatever happens for you during this time, and some of us could have some glitches, some of us could have miscommunications, we could have some moments that don't feel so good, for sure. But whatever happens, Capricorn, if you can keep in mind big picture that when those moments of positivity happen for you, when you are feeling a good comforting moment maybe with a loved one, or when you are feeling strong, or when you review your 2023 and you see what has gone well for you, count those wins and successes. That will really help you to move forward more beautifully and confidently and courageously into 2024. Okay, Sagittarius. Hello, beautiful Sag. Sag, you also are really going to feel this Mercury retrograde because it starts on your new moon. I mean, how amazing, auspicious, and powerful is that for you? So the first part of Mercury retrograde for you is going to happen in your second house, Sag, and that is your house of earned income, your values, your new post-2020 values, as I like to say. We have new values now, right? Most of us do. And also this is the house of self-worth and deserving. So this is your house of material security. What makes you feel secure in terms of income, in terms of your assets, your possessions, all of those things. And some of you might say, you know, my stuff doesn't really matter to me, and that's different for everyone. I understand that. But with Capricorn in this part of your chart, you actually, some of you at least, could be quite goal oriented and really feel successful when you're making the amount of money that feels like a match for your energy, like a match for what you're putting out. This is the area that you're rethinking. It's also and reassessing and reflecting on. How much money am I making? Do I want to do a side gig? Do I need to increase my income? Do I want to look for a new job? Do I need a promotion? Have I asked for a promotion yet? This is what you're thinking about during this first part of Mercury retrograde. And it's also where you're getting a lot of support, expansive support from Jupiter and from Saturn. So this will feel stabilizing to you. And all those key dates and aspects are in the first part of this video that you can go back and watch if you haven't yet. But this should feel quite uplifting to you when we get these positive Jupiter and Saturn aspects. Now, Mercury is going to move into Sagittarius, your sign, to your first house. And this is your house, and this is December 23rd, and it's your house of identity, of roles, your self-image, how you see yourself, your vitality, your appearance, how you move through the world. This is the house of you, Sagittarius. This is the house of I am. So this is where your thinking and your reflection and where you want to refine is going to shift. So some of you could experience this on a very practical level of, do I want to change my appearance in some way? Do I want to change my look? Others of you could experience this in terms of revisioning what you want to do with your life, what you want to do in your work, a role that you play. You could say, I put way too much energy into this particular relationship, or I put way too much energy into this job, or what I'm giving to this, you name what that is, fill in the blank, is not giving me the return on my investment of time, energy, or money that I need to experience. And so you could be saying, I'm going to take on a new role in my family, or I'm going to step back, or I'm going to set boundaries, I'm going to cut ties or cords to something, with someone, with a situation, with a job, and I'm going to start fresh in 2024. So, beautiful Sagittarius, let's see what the cards have to say for you. For this very active Mercury retrograde time, Sag. Sagittarius, your card is, you are not doing this alone. It's help. Ask for help. Sag, don't try to do it alone. This is so beautiful. It says receiving is an act of generosity. And what I love about this is that the second house, where we're having the first part of the Mercury retrograde, is the house of receiving. It's where we know what we deserve, and we get what we deserve based on our subconscious mind, our subconscious sense of what we receive, of what we deserve to receive. What we deserve to receive. So this card is saying, this person you can see is seeing themselves in a much bigger light than they were before. Instead of seeing yourself as the small self, Sag, see yourself as this beautiful, expressive, in the light self, and ask for the help that you need. Angels are around you. Spiritual guides are all around you. You are not doing this alone. You can also book an astrology consultation with me, or a coaching session with me, or with a professional of your choice. But get help. Don't try to do it alone. Ask for support, and you will soar into 2024. Okay, Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are experiencing this Mercury retrograde, the first part in Capricorn, in your third house. The third house is the house of Mercury. This is the house of busyness, of errands, of everything going on in your local environments. It's all your transactions, all the places that you spend money, where you may be buying gifts for people, where you may be sending stuff. This is all third house stuff. It's also your devices, it's transportation, it is your relationships with your siblings, your uncles, aunts, and your cousins. So you could be having conversations with these people. It's also conversations with neighbors. It is your hood. It is the house that you are going to be experiencing actually a lot of support from both Jupiter and Saturn, as I spoke about in the introduction to this video. You will likely, during December 12th to December 23rd at least, you will likely be focused on, and when we get into the new year, when Mercury goes back into Capricorn, January 14th, you will be likely focused on everything local for you. So this could be about your location. It could be about, for you, really reassessing, rethinking, re-envisioning what you do in your local environment. And it's anything. It's where you buy your groceries. It's, some of you could be buying a new car. And yet, no, I don't encourage buying a new car during a Mercury retrograde. Although I have to say that I once, when there was a specific car that I wanted, a Volkswagen Beetle convertible that I really wanted, and there was a specific color. They call it bottle green. Some people call it British racing green. When I really wanted that car, and there was one left in all of Southern California, one left, I did buy that car during the post-shadow period of Mercury retrograde, I have to admit. And I did have issues with the car. I have to also say that, and they were quite stressful. So me personally, I would never again buy a car during a Mercury retrograde period, but that is completely up to you. Just make sure that if you have problems, you take care of them right away. And this is same with devices, buying computers and phones and all of those things. Best to wait if you can, but if you can't, Just make sure you have the receipt and know what the warranty is and so on. So my advice to you, Scorpio, during this first part of Mercury retrograde is to be very clear with people, because this is the house of communication. Be very, very clear as you can be. And if there are miscommunications, well, then you can clear them up as needed and back up all your devices. Now, when Mercury goes into Sagittarius on December 23rd, this Mercury will go back into your second house of earned income. This is your house of material security. This is your possessions and your values and your sense of deserving and self-worth. So you may be asking, Scorpio, during this holiday period, especially between December 23rd and the first part of January, you may be very focused on your material success and thinking about getting a new job, thinking about a promotion, thinking about up-leveling your income in some way, or really doing the inner work to up-level your self-esteem and your sense of worthiness and deserving, or what you value most. You could really be going back and looking at, what are my values now? And does my life match my values? And some of you could be selling stuff. Mercury retrograde is a great time to put something on sale, to buy stuff secondhand. It's actually a great time to find things like in consignment shops, or put something to sell in a consignment shop, have a yard sale, all those kinds of things. Okay, so let's pull a card for you, beautiful Scorpio, and see what the cards have to say. For you, Scorpio. Scorpio. Aw, your card is love. Love, love, love. This says choose love. Let your love become a powerful force for change. So to me, the first thing that comes to me for you is about self-love, self-esteem. One of my favorite authors, Robert Holden, says all love is self-love. I love that so much. All love comes from our own self-love, and that is so true. The love that we receive from others is a reflection of our own self-love. So let your love for yourself, for others, divine love coming streaming into your crown, let that divine love come in. Let your cup overflow, Scorpio, so that you can be the powerful force for change that you choose to be. Okay, Libra. Hello, beautiful Libras. Libra, you are having this Mercury retrograde begin in your fourth house of home, family, childhood conditioning, the house of your roots, self-acceptance, and belonging. So this is where your mind is going, Libra. This is where you want to, some of you could be thinking about moving. Some of you could be thinking about home and like what I need to clear out, like clutter clearing. This is a great time for clutter clearing. It's a great time for selling stuff. Some of you could be moving and you're preparing for a move during this time. That would be a stressful thing to do during the holidays, but you could be doing that right now, especially if you don't celebrate the holidays, which is probably some of you out there for sure. So this first part of Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is where you could be having communication glitches with family, where you could be doing some inner child healing. This is a great time to do that. I have a video for you on reparenting yourself, inner child healing, that I will link to in my description box below in case that could be helpful for you. You could be visioning a new house. You could be creating a vision board for a new home and what you want to receive in that new home. Now, when Mercury turns retrograde in Sagittarius, when it moves into Sag, that's going to be December 23rd. When Mercury moves into the Sagittarius part of your chart, it will be in your third house, and that is a very active, busy time. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're running around doing lots of errands, doing a lot of meetings and hangouts and get-togethers with people in your local environment. You are very social, Libra, so I would not be surprised if you are just doing a lot of like short trips, or you could be like doing short trips to visit family, seeing different family members and so on. This is also where you could be seeing siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins. I know that's very stereotypical for the holiday time. Or if you're staying home, maybe you're just having a lot of phone conversations, a lot of interactions. This will probably be a busy time. This is also the house of our retail transactions, so you could be doing a lot more of that during this time as well. But big picture, this is about you refining a vision. This area of your chart, third house, a vision, maybe be about your location. Maybe you want to move someplace else. There's definitely a theme of home and location and family for you during this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn and Sag, Libra. So let me shuffle the cards for you and see what the cards have to say for Libras during this Mercury retrograde. Libra, you have creativity. How beautiful is this? Express your creativity. Delight in the mystery of your inner muse. So this is really pulling you in. This is pulling you inward in a big way, Libra. You are so artistic. I have not yet met a Libra that isn't incredibly artistic in some way, shape, or form, or at least creative. And this card is saying that some of you may want to take this holiday time or this late December, early January time to really express your creativity. And notice how she's touching this green light. There's so much green in this card. That is heart chakra. That is opening your heart to a heart healing as well. And often our creativity is healing, dancing, painting, taking photos, drawing, expressing through singing, expressing through any kind of physical movement can be extremely healing for you, beautiful Libra. So do it. Spend time taking care of you and your creative self, and you will reap the rewards. Okay, Virgos. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are having a Mercury retrograde in your 5th house of true love and romance, dating, creative expression. This is a house of your inner child. This is where you give yourself the free rein to delight yourself and to be around others with whom you feel real simpatico, real joy, real pleasure. This is the house of pleasure. What a beautiful place to have. I mean, Mercury retrograde is generally speaking not easy, but you're going to be getting actually a lot of powerful positive energy from the aspects I spoke about in part 1 of this video. You are going to be getting an aspect from Saturn that is supportive, an aspect from Jupiter that is supportive here in your 5th house. So I would not be surprised if you feel inspired, if you feel like real new visionary energy coming through. This is also the house of children that you have or children that you hang out with during this time. This is really positive. These positive aspects are very, very good and nourishing for long-lasting, stable, something that you really want to bring out into the world or that you really want to strengthen, and for just feeling overall more expanded. So that's really good news. So that's the first part of this Mercury retrograde for you. And then on December 23rd, when Mercury moves into Sagittarius, that's going to be your 4th house of home, family, and childhood conditioning. So this is where you could have a very busy home and family during this time. You could be doing a lot of things, running around, but also where this is where Mercury retrograde, you're rethinking, reassessing, fine-tuning a vision for 2024. You could be really thinking about, how do I want to do things differently? So Virgo, you could also be doing some inner work during this time on your inner child. This is the time, a really good time for you to be doing inner child work. You may feel during this time some sort of emotional trigger from being around family, only because Mercury retrogrades do want us to really awaken to what is our inner narrative. What is, this could bring up your past. This could bring up a dialogue that's going on in your head about what you feel you're worthy of or not worthy of. Pay attention to anything that comes up from your past that may still need you to meet those emotions, process those emotions, and or do some forgiveness work, forgiving the other, forgiving yourself. And some of you may be thinking about moving or just thinking about your home. Where do I want to live? Do I want to sell a home? Do I want to buy a new home? Do I want to change the location of my home? That could be very much up for you as well, Virgo. Okay. So now I am shuffling the cards for you, and let us see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Virgo, during your holiday Mercury retrograde. And you have, Virgo, release. Have a good cry. Grief is a doorway to your deepest self. So when we allow ourselves to release, we clear out old energy. There's nothing wrong with crying. I know that a lot of people, they don't want to cry. They don't want to meet those feelings. To me, when I have a good cry, when I can tell something needs to come out, I no, I'm like, bring it on, because when I'm finished releasing, I know that I have cleared out energy and I've opened up new space for what I truly want, what my heart really, truly wants to come through and to happen. So to me, this is actually a really good sign that you are ready, Virgo. You are ready to process emotions you haven't processed before, and that this release is going to, as this says, open a doorway to your deepest self, to a self that maybe hasn't had a chance to express at all in your life. We're going into 2024. It's a whole new era. It's a whole new level of self-expression, of soul expression. That means fulfillment for you, beautiful Virgo. That means fulfillment that you have not yet let yourself experience. So release the past, release the emotions, so you can have that new expression that's going to bring you the joy that you truly deserve and desire. Okay, Leos. Hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you are having this Mercury retrograde in your 6th house of daily habits, routines, work, and wellness. This is where you could be rethinking, re-envisioning, reassessing your health, your workout routine, your exercise, the food that you put in your body, also your daily work. If you have a job, how you create your schedule, if you're self-employed. This is asking you to look at your daily life, and is it giving you energy? Is it draining your energy? Is it sustainable? With Saturn making a sextile to Mercury retrograde, it's saying we really have to look at, is the way I'm doing this work sustainable for me? Is the way I'm doing my daily life, are there any habits that are not sustainable, that are not feeding my energy, that aren't boosting my energy, that aren't good for me? This is what you're really being asked to look at. But with Jupiter here too, making a trine to Mercury retrograde, we're getting expanded. We're getting hopefully you are getting a vision. You're getting inspired as to how you could do it differently, how you could dream bigger, perhaps, dream bigger, and maybe let something go that just isn't giving you the return on your investment of time, money, or energy that you deserve, Leo. So when I almost said Pluto, when Mercury enters Sagittarius December 23rd, that's going to move into your 5th house of true love and romance and dating, children, and your creative expression, your inner child delight. So when this happens, you could be doing that same sort of going back, reflecting, reassessing, re-envisioning somebody that you are dating, somebody that is involved with you in some way with your creative expression. It could be with a child, a relationship with a child. This is the house of pleasure and adventure and fun, where we really want to give ourselves permission to full out express, to come alive. So the beauty of you having a 5th house Mercury retrograde is it's saying, let's look at where you could be keeping yourself from feeling fully alive. Let's look at anything that isn't feeding you. Again, this is very similar to the 6th house. What isn't feeding you in your 5th house arena of creativity? Or have you been holding back? Have you been procrastinating on writing that book or that screenplay, or writing a song, or putting something out into the world that you've already created, or just getting some pastels and doodling, or getting one of those what are the words I'm trying to say? One of those coloring books for adults. Have you been holding off on feeding your creativity? If so, it's time to get that back in your life, beautiful Leo, because that really does serve you. And with a 5th house in Sagittarius, that is really giving yourself freedom to just play, freedom to go inside and discover your truth, discover what's true for you, and then make a change so that you can align your life with that truth. So that your life can feel more aligned with the truth of what's most important to you now in this house. And this could have to do with a relationship that is not a marriage or a true committed partnership, but one in which where you're seeing somebody, where you're involved with someone romantically maybe, but you haven't taken it to the level of commitment yet, and you may be thinking about that. Do I want to? Is it time to? Is it time to propose? Is it time to have that conversation of where's this going, or do we want to continue this? It could be any of those things. So Leo, let us see what the cards have to say for you for this epic Mercury retrograde, just before Pluto moves into Capricorn, a whole new era in 2024. Leo, your card is, I love this card, it's so beautiful, independence. Decide for yourself. Exercise your right to choose. Are you having a challenge making a decision in any of these realms that I just brought up? If you are, this is saying it's time to decide independently. Decide for yourself what's right for you, what makes sense to you. Allow yourself to be the independent being that you are. And I'm not saying this says break up necessarily with somebody, but it is saying if you didn't have anyone else's voice in your ear or playing out in your head, what would you decide? It's time to really get clear on what you want most, beautiful Leo, and go from there. Okay, Cancers. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my rising and my moon in Cancer. So Cancer, we are having this Mercury retrograde, the first part of it in Capricorn, in our 7th house of committed partnerships, beautiful Cancer. And this means we are really looking at our reassessing, re-envisioning, fine-tuning how we do our committed partnerships. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Do you overgive, Cancer? That is classic Cancer energy, giving too much. I know that I am really thinking about that myself and really planning in 2024 not to give so much, because when you find your own cup empty, when you find that you're constantly feeling defeated or feeling like things are not moving in the direction that I want them to, it could be that you are giving more to others than you are giving to yourself, and it's time to bring that energy back into you, beautiful Cancer. Some of you may be in a committed partnership that you are really thinking about right now and assessing, is this the right one for me? Others of you could be just creating a new vision for what you want a committed partnership to look like for you. Could be doing a vision board on this. You could be writing down those 10 qualities that you want in a partner. It's a beautiful time to do that visioning, especially with the expansive energy we're going to receive from Jupiter and that solidifying, stabilizing energy we're going to get from Saturn in this part of your chart. Then when Pluto, I keep saying Pluto, oh my gosh, I have Pluto on the brain. Then when Mercury moves into Sagittarius, that's your 6th house of work. That's your 6th house of daily habits. Your 6th house of what do your days look like inside and out? Your workout routine, your health, what you put in your body, your nutrition, and for a lot of us, this is how do we do our daily work, our daily commitments to other people, clients, for example, or you know, like for me, it's my weekly commitment to do a video for you guys once a week. It's all those things. Like, how do you do that? How do you go about it? Do you find yourself getting stressed out? Do you put too much pressure on yourself? Do you expect more than you can do of yourself? Those kinds of questions are what we're really asking. And where can you change this up? Where can you innovate? Where can you do it a little bit differently or do something new? Some of you are like, I want a new job. I want a new career. I want a new workout routine. I want to move someplace else. I mean, 6th house isn't the house of location, but because all of these different things are wrapped up in it, you could be thinking about moving to a different location, Cancer. So let's see what the cards have to say for this Mercury retrograde. And because this is 7th house of committed partnerships, your time, if you celebrate Christmas, that time could be quite, you could definitely feel, it could be quite lovely. We have that Cancer full moon that I spoke about at the beginning of the video. That's going to be really lovely, Cancers. You really deserve that. I hope you really love it. I hope all the cardinal signs are just so happy with that full moon. But this is definitely a time that you could feel quite emotional and nostalgic, because Cancer energy is so nostalgic anyway. You could really be feeling like you're looking back at different times of your life or going all the way back. You could be going decades back for some of you who've been on the planet for a while like I have. and really looking at your life. We're going into a whole new soul cycle. We're going into a whole new era. So this is the time you could really be feeling sentimental. And nothing wrong with that. You might want to journal. You might even want to do a life review and look at a life review of what the challenges you've had in your life. Where have you risen above adversity? Where have you moved through things that you never knew you had the strength to move through? This could be quite stabilizing for you, actually, Cancer. Okay. Cancer is your card. Oh, Cancer, I love this card. Magnificence. Own your magnificence. The world needs your brilliance and grace. Is there something, Cancer, that you want to do that you're a little bit afraid to do? It's time to own your magnificence. I love the way she's putting her arms around herself. This is inner child healing as well. Hold yourself. Love yourself. I know we can feel silly being like, okay, how does it feel to give myself a hug? Sometimes it feels good and sometimes it feels like silly, but you can go inside in your imagination and hug that little boy or little girl inside of you and say, I love you. I will never ever leave you. You're the most important thing to me. I am committed to your well-being. And then take action on that, beautiful Cancer. If anything happens with a significant person during this Mercury retrograde, remember, you can always go back to you and take care of you. Give yourself what you most need in any situation that could be stressful, and you will come through this stronger. And I'm not saying that Cancers are going to feel that more than anyone else. We all have the propensity to. But with the retrograde happening in your 7th house of partnerships, you may have a moment even of feeling a disappointment where you want to go in and really hug and hold yourself and give yourself what you need. We can always give ourselves a treat, right? That shifts our vibration, shifts our perceptions, and takes us back into that place of gratitude. Own your magnificence and see your brilliance and your grace begin to really express and thrive in 2024. Okay, Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. I have my sun, fatal sun in Gemini. Those of you who are Gemini rising, you are going to have this transit of Mercury retrograde, the first part of it, in your 8th house of power. This is the house of power, control, transformation, death and rebirth, shared resources. This is a partnership and a money house. This is where, with our most significant people, whether they are spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, people we live with, this can even be parents if we share time, money, or resources with them. Wherever you have a committed partnership and you are sharing resources, also emotional intimacy and physical intimacy, this is where you are having also your investments. So some of you have investments that you're really thinking about and looking at and assessing during this Mercury retrograde time, or you're assessing a relationship, or you're having conversations with a significant other or with clients about your money or their money or investments and so on. This is where we go really deep sometimes to pull up unconscious, you could have some unconscious healing here on any unconscious beliefs about these areas of your life, because these areas are very charged emotionally, generally speaking. Our money, our investments, where we save for retirement, where we have a nest egg, some of us, and we want it to flourish, right? And with the stock market being so crazy and the economy being so up and down, you could really be feeling uncertain during this time, Gemini, about your assets that you share with others or assets that earn a certain amount of return. You could really be thinking about that during this time. Or you could be thinking about a partnership or wanting to have a deep, intimate partnership with someone that you don't have right now, and you're creating a vision for that, or you're thinking about how you want that in your life. This is where we are creating a new vision. We're creating a new vision for 2024. We're getting expansive, supportive energy during this Mercury retrograde. Divine downloads. I spoke about this at length in the first part of the video, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but just know that there's a stabilizing energy from Saturn that you are getting in your 8th house during this retrograde. And then when Mercury goes into Sagittarius on December 23rd, Mercury will move into your 7th house of committed partnerships. And this is where you could really be looking at, is a specific partnership, whether it's in your business, client related, or a partnership in your personal life, whether it is balanced, whether it is matching your ideal vision. Now, no relationship is ideal. We know that nothing is perfect. But if you feel like the rug is pulled out, if you feel defeated, if you feel disappointed, this is where it's time to really look at, how can I fine tune this? How can I change my vision? Is whatever relationship you're thinking about solid and sustainable and right for me to continue with? There could be a soul contract ending for you. There could be something that's expired. Someone can come into your life for a very brief time. You do your dance, you do your relationship dance with them, and you know, whatever karma you may have had with that person, you then resolve that, clear that, and they move on. So that could be happening for you as well. Gemini, leave me a comment. Let me know. I'm very curious to know if that resonates for you. So I've been shuffling for you, Gemini, and now let's pull a card for you. Gemini, beautiful Gemini, it's time for pleasure, Gemini. It's time to take some time to relax and rejuvenate. Now, for most of you, this may happen during the second part of Mercury retrograde, when after December 23rd, that may be when it happens, only because when we have Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, it can be harder. We're very focused on getting things done, very focused on practical responsibilities and fulfilling those. But this card says, do something just for fun. Pleasure is one of life's essential nutrients. Have you been giving yourself enough pleasure? Have you been petting your cat enough if you have a cat? Have you been hanging out with your animals enough? Look at all the pink in this card, pink and purple. The bubbles, I love the bubbles. And one of the cats is popping the bubble up here. This is, if you have children or you're around children during the holidays, or you just haven't done enough for your own inner child, maybe you get yourself a gift, Gemini. Maybe you get yourself something really fun and playful that isn't about a goal, that isn't about anything except just bringing more delight into your life. You have gotten your marching orders, beautiful Gemini, to bring in more pleasure during this Mercury retrograde time. So leave me a comment, let me know if this resonates for you. I would love to hear, and I fully support you. As your astrologer and coach, I fully support you to give yourself some time to just have fun during this Mercury retrograde. Okay, Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you're experiencing the Mercury retrograde, the holiday Mercury retrograde, in your 9th house of expansion. That's the first part in Capricorn. It's going to be in your 9th house of expansion. And this is where you could be thinking about or reassessing spiritual beliefs. You could be thinking about taking a course. You could be thinking about higher learning. This could be PhD or a master's program. Publishing, putting something that you've created out into the world. This is teaching and learning on a more, higher learning way. So when I say higher learning, it can be anything from a PhD to a metaphysical course or a course in astrology, that kind of thing. But big picture, you are really wanting to feel more expanded during this Mercury retrograde, and this is where the universe is helping you. It's nudging you, maybe to do some more spiritual practice, whether that's meditation or singing. I just got Taurus. And Taurus, you guys are known as having beautiful singing voices, so that maybe that came in for a reason. But anything, dancing your prayers, anything that allows you to connect with the divine, you are very supported, hugely supported to connect with the divine and receive inspiration during this Mercury retrograde. Then Taurus, December 23rd, Mercury will move into your 8th house. And your 8th house is the house of power, transformation, death, and rebirth, money from others, shared money, shared resources, deep emotional and physical intimacy. This is the deep, deep house of taxes as well. Some of you could be doing your taxes. while at the very end of December or the beginning of January. You guys may be the first people to do your taxes, very possibly. But you are also very possibly reassessing investments, reassessing, revisioning, tweaking any agreements that you have with people around money or deep, intimate relationships. So, Taurus, now the cards. What is your card for this Mercury retrograde? Taurus, your card is time. What I love about this card, and I'll read you the message in a moment, but what I love about this card is that there's so much richness in this card. To me, this card speaks of prosperity. There's so much gold. And one of the messages I get is that sometimes with time, time is fluid, right? There's really no such thing as time in the spiritual realms. Everything is happening all at once. It's hard to wrap our minds around that. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. The idea that literally the past, present, and future are all happening at once. But some of us can sometimes feel like I don't have enough time. There's too much to do. I don't have time to take care of myself or to delight my inner child. You see how there's a little girl here. And she's all dressed in this beautiful, beautiful silky dress with a huge bow. She just wants to be in the richness of life. And you love that, Taurus. I know you love that. The richness of life, the deliciousness of life. Are you giving that to yourself? I think that's one of the messages. Also, the message on the back of this card is schedule a sacred date with yourself. You deserve time for your life. Yes. In my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling, I talk about scheduling a soul date with yourself. Soul dates are so important because they are the times that we can receive the inspiration we need on the next part of our lives, the next chapter, the next year, the new era that we're going into. This is where we can receive the nourishment and the truth about what we need now, what's most important to us now, how our values have shifted, so that we're not going on automatic pilot and we're not going into a new year with ideas that are outworn or expired, or relationships that have expired for us. We're going into a brand new year, refreshed, revitalized, inspired, ready for a whole new soul expression in 2024, beautiful Taurus. If this resonates, let me know. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. This really, to me, too, speaks of abundance. Give yourself the abundance that you deserve in terms of time for you, and notice how the abundance in your life expands as well. Okay, Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries. Mercury's going to retrograde first part in Capricorn in your 10th house of career, legacy, meaning, and retirement. This is big. This is you really looking at your career, really looking at what's working for me in my career and what isn't. This is really, really significant. It's happening in a part of your chart that's the most public area of your chart, and career is very important to you, Aries. You need to be passionate. It needs to be something that lights you up. It needs to be feeding you on a deep soul level. It needs to be fiery for you. It needs to be very fulfilling for you. You have to be living your passion. That's just true about Aries. They have to live their passion. So this is where you are receiving divine downloads from Jupiter, stabilizing, supportive energy for something long-lasting with the sextile from Saturn. This is where you're receiving a lot of positive energy. Aries, if this squares any of your planets or points, because this is where Capricorn is in your chart, it could be squaring your Aries energy, that is trying to help you to get clear on what's best for your career going forward. So take the time to do some journaling, take the time to do some reflecting, talk with other people that are supportive to you, get professional support if that's helpful, so that you can make a decision. If you're trying to make a decision, which I bet many of you are during this time, that has to do with career or how you want to spend your one wild and precious life, as Mary Oliver puts it, take that seriously. Aries, I know you do. You take your career quite seriously. Take it seriously. Give yourself that time, and that will really help you in terms of clarity. When Mercury moves back into Sagittarius. That is going to be your ninth house of expression. Your ninth house of expansion, I meant to say. Expressive expansion. Also your spiritual beliefs, higher learning, publishing, teaching. Some of you may want to take a course. Some of you may have heard me talk about this when I talked about the sign before you, Taurus. Some of you maybe want to take a trip. You want to take an adventure. You maybe want to do some long distance travel. With Sag here, yeah, very well, very possible that some of you are like, I want to take a trip. I want to go to a new place. I need new scenery. I need a new environment. I remember once when this is coming to me, so I'm going to share it. I remember once when I took a very deeply soul-searching time out when I was trying to figure out what to do in my marriage, and I was so confused, so confused. And I don't think this part is in my book, this story is in my book, but I remember going to Arches National Park, going to all of the very sacred grounds of the different national parks in the southwestern area of the United States, and just sitting among the red rocks and getting up early in the morning and going to these places where, you know, these are thousands of years old, where I mean, there's such divine energy there. Wherever you live or wherever you want to travel, you may want to take a spiritual retreat where you can go to some place where you literally feel the vibrations of soul coming into you and activating you and helping you to make any sort of decision that you're trying to make. Beautiful Aries, that could be really, really good for you. I'm so glad that came through. That's so cool. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say for you now, Aries. Aries. I feel that a lot of you are having to really look at a belief that doesn't feel like it matches a decision you're trying to make. You may need to leave a belief behind, and I do talk about this in my book, because when my marriage was dissolving, I had to rethink a belief. I had to let go of the belief that a good person doesn't end a marriage, but my marriage had already died. I hadn't ended it. It was already died. Sometimes we don't have control over things, but sometimes we have to change a belief that's creating cognitive dissonance for us to allow us to make a decision that is where our soul is leading us anyway. And your card, Aries, is dreams. Think big. Ooh, think big. There are unseen forces ready to support your dreams, Aries. You're not doing this alone. When you say yes to your heart, then providence moves in. The universe moves in to match you, but you have to say yes first. And if you need support, which some of you might, know that I do astrology consultations as well as deep dive coaching. I can help support you to make a decision that may be very challenging for you to make at this time. Think big, expand your idea of what's possible for you, and those unseen forces, once you decide, those unseen forces will be there to meet you halfway. Beautiful Aries, leave me a comment. Let me know if this resonates. I would love to hear. Okay, Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, you are experiencing Mercury retrograde. The first part, in your 11th house. Capricorn's in your 11th house for you Pisces risings. This is the house of tribe. This is where you're thinking about, where is my support? Who can I align with? Where are my alliances? This is all your social media platforms if you have a platform, or where you socialize online if you do. Your hopes, wishes, and dreams, your long-term gains. This is the house of fulfillment. This is the house of the dream. Whatever dream you are dreaming right now, what is most important to you right now, Pisces, this is where Mercury is transiting for you, saying, reassess, rethink, refine. This is where you're probably really doing some soul searching, some of you, to see is how I'm experiencing all of these matters of friendships and tribe and all of that. You could be rethinking a friendship. You could be saying, the dream of my life has changed. I'm laughing because this huge truck is going by now. Some of you may hear that faintly in the background when I edit the sound out of the background. You still may hear it. It was that loud. Um, is it time to get in a vehicle and drive somewhere so that you can get perspective, that higher vision perspective that we get when we go into new scenery, when we take a trip, even if it's just a day trip, a road trip, to see something else? That could help you, Pisces. Now, the second part of Mercury retrograde in Sag is going to be in your 10th house of career, legacy, how you want to spend your time. So this is very important, this Mercury retrograde. It's really asking you to be honest with yourself, fiercely honest with yourself, to really reflect and look at your life and what is best for you now, and what is feeding you and what is not feeding you, because this is where you may be spending significant time and energy, and it's important that what you give is giving back to you, Pisces. You guys can be so altruistic, so always pouring out, always giving, always filling other people's cups. Is your cup being filled? Does your career, in the way you're doing it, I'll say it again, how we do one thing is how we do everything. Is your cup being filled, or is there a way you're doing your life that needs to be shifted? Where can you up-level your sense of deserving and worthiness? This is 11th house. This is where the universe is saying up-level what you feel you're worthy of. You're worthy of more, Pisces, in this area of 11th house alliances. You're worthy of better. Know this. And any disappointment you've had in career or legacy or retirement or sense of meaning, any disappointment, defeat, the reality not matching your true vision, this is where you are re-envisioning this area of your life so it brings you more fulfillment. Okay, time for a card now, Pisces. What is your card? Pisces, your card is action. See this pathway. There's a new path for you. There's a new direction for you, but it requires your action. It requires you to take steps, one baby step to start in the direction of your new destiny. This says, the journey to find your lost self begins with one step. Pisces, do you feel lost on any level? If you do, this is inviting you into your soul. In my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, I call it partnering with your soul, creating a deeper intimacy with your soul. And I share with you in my book a technique for downloading information from your own soul and for really communing with your soul. And it makes such a huge difference when it comes to decision making in your life. So I love these words from Cheryl Richardson. The journey to find your lost self begins with one step, one baby step. Beautiful, Pisces. Take action. Maybe it's buying my book. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's getting an astrology consultation. Maybe it is doing some heart storming with close people during the holidays, whatever it is for you, or journaling with, connecting with the intention of connecting with your soul, whatever it is for you, Pisces. One tiny step will bring you closer to your own inner truth and your own connection with what is best and right for you going forward. Pisces, does that resonate? If it does, I'd love to hear it. Leave me a comment if you would. Okay, Aquarius. Beautiful Aquarius. I have not sung yet in this video, and I sound so off-tuned to myself right now. Oh my gosh. Aquarius. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius. Aquarius. Are you guys tired of me singing that yet? We have a thing now. Those of you who've been watching my videos, we have a thing now, I know, about singing to you. And that's all of you. We all have Aquarius somewhere in our natal astrology chart. So but believe me, it's not just Aquarians. I want to sing to all of you, but the urge just came to me. So Aquarius. That was me being my kooky, crazy self. And with you having Mercury in your 12th house, in the first part of Mercury retrograde, you may feel like you need to be your crazy, quirky self. Someone told me once, an astrologer, that because I have a stellium in the 12th house, a stellium of personal planets in the 12th house, they said, you could be the crazy lady. So leave me a comment. If you guys think I'm the crazy lady, or you see an aspect of me that is the crazy lady, I own it, I claim it, leave me a comment. I would love to hear. You are having this transit in your 12th house, Aquarius. The first part in Capricorn is in your 12th house. Now, Capricorn is very traditional energy. It's very status quo. It's very goal-oriented. That tells me that for you guys having Capricorn in your 12th house, there's a certain amount of how do I want to say this? You could feel at times like you still have to go by tradition, or you still have to play it by the book, or you still are very goal oriented, or maybe your goals are 12th house goals. They are all about spiritual alignment. They're all about awakening. They're all about mystical revelations. You are a mystic, Aquarius. There's no, those of you who are Aquarius risings, you are mystics. There's no question. And you are very serious about your spiritual awakening. This transit of Mercury retrograding through your 12th house could bring you quite a revelation, could bring you quite a realization, seeing with real eyes. This could bring you quite a divine download that changes your life, that really, with, you know, this isn't about me, but I'm just connecting with you guys here. Having a stellium in the 12th house, I've had so many revelations in nighttime dreams, and in different experiences, that you could have something similar, because this is 12th house energy. We really can have amazing expansions happen during a 12th house Mercury retrograde, especially this one in particular, where we have these positive aspects that I spoke about in the introduction to this video from Jupiter and from Saturn. You really could get a great idea for something new. Like, some of you might want to start a healing profession, a business, open up some sort of something, a school that is about a metaphysical art, or Reiki healing, or massage, or any of the healing arts. You could really get a strong download that gives you a sense of wind at your back, and yes, I can do this. I want to do this. I feel confident and hopeful and optimistic now to do it. Also, you could be rewiring your subconscious mind, rewiring any self-doubt. 12th house is associated with self-doubt. It's associated with where we don't often feel we have what it takes to do something. And so you could be noticing, observing thoughts, or a narrative, or inner dialogue that isn't supportive, that you then say, I'm going to redo this. I'm going to rewire this, and I'm going to do affirmations that support what I want to do. So that is really beautiful. Now, Aquarius, when you receive your Sagittarius Mercury retrograde, when Mercury retrogrades in in its territory, that's your 11th house. That's friendships, alliances, support. That is social media. That's any platforms you have on a social media level that further you in terms of business or career. Also, group meetings. This is where you show up with people and you really want to feel like we're on the same page. We're on the same we're in the same tribe. We are together creating, going forward. And you know, Aquarius, if you've been watching my videos, or you just know about this from other people's videos, we're going into a whole new era, which is your era. Pluto and Aquarius. This is where you are really being asked to find your tribe, if you haven't already, to align with those who share your same passions, your same desire for the worldview that you want to help co-create, because you came here, Aquarius, as I'm sure you know, to help usher in this very, very important time of awakening and expansion. Aquarius, that was a lot. Okay, so I'm feeling in my solar plexus right now. Some of you may have a little bit of stuck energy in your solar plexus. That's your seat of power, where you want to breathe through that and expand your sense of what you can do, what's possible for you, your courage, your confidence, your ability to step out, your desire to step out in the world, to know you can do it, your power, Aquarius. Okay, so I've been shuffling. Let's pull a card for you. Aquarius, Aquarius. Look what you got. Relaxation. Allow yourself to be lazy. It's okay to do nothing. What do you think, Aquarius? I love this card. Oh my gosh, she is receiving divine downloads as she does nothing. She is in the water, which is 12th house energy. 12th house is traditionally the Piscean house. It is just being, soaking in the water, floating in your canoe in the water. And as you do, you transform like the butterfly. You, maybe those of you who've been in a chrysalis, you come out of your chrysalis as a butterfly. And for those of you who are experiencing already, which you could be, vibes from Pluto going into Aquarius, and it's touching any of your planets or points, if you have any between like 0 and 2 degrees, any planets or points in Aquarius, you could be feeling Pluto already. And Pluto puts us into a chrysalis. Pluto jumpstarts a death and rebirth process. So if you're in that, you could be feeling it, and you could just need time to do nothing. And if you want support, I can help you. All my links are below for my consultations and my coaching. Aquarius, I hope you have the most relaxing end of December, early January. The relaxation you give yourself will be well worth it. You'll soften your energy. You'll be able to co-create with the universe more of what you truly want when your energy is softened. And you'll be able to receive the divine messages from Mercury that you are meant to receive to soar into 2024. Beautiful Aquarius. Leave me a comment if this resonates. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you for joining me for this Mercury retrograde video. This is an epic Mercury retrograde. We are going into a whole new soul cycle. We are going into a whole new era, and the work that we do, and this could be easy work, it doesn't have to be hard work. The revelations that we download during this Mercury retrograde period can really jumpstart a gorgeous new vision for us in 2024. If you would like to know how this Mercury retrograde period is affecting you personally, how is it interacting with your natal chart, the planets and points in your natal chart, you can book an astrology consultation with me. Just go to my website, check out the testimonials from other people who have received consultations with me, from me, and you will get a sense of whether you feel called to work with me. We can do, there's a whole array of personal astrology consultations that you could choose from. So I will leave it to you to go check out my offerings there. Also, I can do coaching with you if you would like some coaching support during this time. I would love to support you. If you want to do a 2024 year ahead consultation with me, book those. I am booked out for a lot of December, but there's a few spaces left, I think next week maybe, and then we go to January. I'll be doing those in January. I would love to support you, and I would love to meet you on Zoom. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for your likes, for your thumbs ups, for your comments, for your shares of this video. When you share my videos, it sends a message to the algorithm that then sends my videos out to more people who love astrology, and you really help support my channel, and I'm so grateful to you for that. And be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet so you don't miss my next video. Thank you to my Sunday chat friends for joining me. I absolutely love being here with you Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And as promised, I have a free gift for you. This is a soothing guided meditation. It is a chance to receive a divine download, a chance to connect with your spiritual guidance, with the unconditionally loving universal support for you. So to receive that free guided meditation, just go to my website, subscribe to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will get that instant download immediately. So my beautiful friend, I'm actually now looking forward to this Mercury retrograde with all of the gorgeous aspects that it's making. I feel like it really is going to bolster us, strengthen us, expand us as we travel into 2024. I hope that you feel the same. Leave me a comment, let me know. And until my next video, until we commune next, I am sending you all my love.